Hey folks, Real Honesty with Joe Ritlin. I'm Joe Ritlin. Top 10 favorite matches in WWE NXT in 2017. Thank you guys so much for supporting my channel this entire year and last year and 2015. I did, of course, start uploading videos at the beginning of 2015. It's been a hell of a ride so far, not stopping. Gonna keep having fun with this as long as it's fun. Really enjoyed doing videos with the Durbinator and when my best friend Cassie sat in on the couple of the reviews, so I really do appreciate that, Cassie. And just you guys for listening to my rants, my anger rants, my happy rants, my reviews, and all stuff, my reflection shows. Let me know if there's still some reflection shows you want me to do. I have some lined up, as I talked about before, Raw, SmackDown, or Raw retro reviews of all the 1993 episodes, and maybe some select SmackDowns and some select Raws, and also Raw Nitro, Monday Night War battles. I'm going to be doing some of that stuff. So anyway, without further ado, 10 favorite matches in WWE NXT in 2017. It's a nice mix, I think. Added to this list a few times. And this is a definitive list, so I'm not going to be shooting these with the Durbinator unless he suddenly decides that he wants to be part of it. He's got his own schedule and his own things to do. But otherwise, we may do a collab video, otherwise solo video. So thank you guys for coming along with the ride. For number 10, Cena versus Styles. It was on par with their SummerSlam 2016 match, and it was for the WWE Championship, so stakes just a little bit higher. Stakes. And I knew that Cena was going to win the championship, and it's unfortunate because I think Styles' title reign was really just getting, some momentum behind it. Because he feuded with Dean Ambrose, and he feuded with Ellsworth and this kind of stuff, and okay, let's get it a little better here. But hey, Styles was the heel champion at the time. Of course, he was going to be turned babyface by some point very soon, because he's just too good. It's not that Styles can play a heel. He's just so good, you can't help but cheer the guy. Cena, of course, tying Ric Flair's official record. His unofficial record of title reigns is more like 20 to 24, which he will never beat, and no one will ever beat, not even Roman Reigns. But Cena winning, okay, I wasn't the happiest with it, and Styles pretty much got destroyed at the end, but it was still a really good match, really good flow, damn good way to kick off WWE pay-per-views for 2017. Certainly no complaints here. It was certainly better than the Rumble match. It took people on a hell of a ride. And even with Cena winning, I got to give props. It was a great match. New Day versus the Usos, a Hell in a Cell Tag Team Championship match. It was, of course, a Hell in a Cell match and great tag team wrestling. Kane usage, where one of the Usos was Kane locked in in the corner. Great Kane usage, great other weapon usage. It was just wonderfully done. I wish Big E would stop doing that goddamn dive to the outside because I'm worried he's going to hurt himself. Now, wrestling isn't ballet, but I'm just saying doing stuff that careless and that dangerous, leave that to the idiots that want to do that stuff. You guys are making big money. Maybe not do that kind of insane stuff and preserve your bodies. But New Day losing here, the Usos winning didn't even bother me. That's how good this match was. And by the way, sorry guys, I got some allergies. Usos winning the match didn't bother me. It was great. I take my hat off to both teams. Both teams put on incredible effort. Best match on the Hell in a Cell card by far. Certainly no complaints here. And then we go to the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. And nothing against the women. The women did fine. But the ending, Corbin versus Styles versus Ziggler versus Owens versus Zayn versus Nakamura. It was a good flow. And Corbin winning, I was all for, because I'm like, okay, maybe they're going to give a chance. And then they blew that in 2 months. But Corbin winning it was really, really nice. They told a good story with Corbin and Nakamura. And everybody was taking some really, really hard shots, especially Styles. Zayn, was great, of course. Oh, and everybody got their chance to shine. Ziggler, of course, doing some great moves. It was a really good flow and a really good way to end the show. As it should have ended the show, by the way. At least I believe this ended the show. I don't think Jinder versus Orton ended the show. Money in the Bank kind of is a bit of a weird, I have a fleeting memories of it, but I do know that this match was the match of the pay-per-view by far. Money in the Bank was better than I expected, but it still wasn't great. Number 7, Sheamus and Cesaro, Sheamus and Cesaro, can't quite do that right, versus the Hardys, 30-minute Iron Man match for the Tag Team Championships at Great Balls of Fire. Great Balls of Fire was a hell of a pay-per-view. Maybe not everything was pitch perfect, but it was damn good compared to what I thought, and especially given the horrible title and everything. Goodness gracious, Great Balls of Fire. The psychology, the tag team psychology was incredible, especially the finish. Just with Sheamus and Cesaro managing to get the win, just squeezing out the win at the end. It was like old school NWA, WCW, or old school, 2 out of 3 fall stuff that they did with tag team championships or world championships or TV or US or whatever. They managed to do that kind of stuff and do some really, really good inventive stuff and have a good pace to it, and it was incredible to watch. It was one of my favorite main roster tag team match of the year. Better than what Rollins and Ambrose and Sheamus and Cesaro did. It was wonderful. It was wonderfully done. I'm a big fan of 2 out of 3 falls matches when they're done right, and this one was done right. Number 6, Asuka versus Nikki Cross on NXT TV in June. I believe it was June for the women's title, the Falls Count Anywhere match. The lone women's match on this countdown. It's nothing against the women. I mean, Natty's had some, great efforts. Naomi has done pretty well. Peyton and Billy, I mean, they were involved in some matches, but unfortunately, a lot of rush time just made it to where those matches, while good, weren't top 10 in my opinion. And that's nothing against them. That's how creative booked it. I mean, the women's Fatal 4-Way at TakeOver War Game should have been incredible. And it was like 9 minutes. I mean, come on, that's just not a good way to build it. But anyway, Asuka versus Nikki Cross, they did incredibly well. Incredibly well. They had some great, great moments. And a superplex off the ladder through the announcer's table was really well done. I really like that. Asuka managed to get the win. And it was actually a last woman standing match. I don't know why I wrote down Falls Count Anywhere, but it was, last woman standing. And it was great stuff. Asuka managed to just eke out the win. Nikki didn't look weak in defeat. It was really damn good. It was damn good women's wrestling. Now we move on to number 5, Sandy versus AOP at TakeOver Brooklyn 3 for the tag titles. 1, Sandy managed to get the win, and it was good. You had the table spot, where Killian Dane ran one of the AOP members through the table along with Nikki Cross. Kudos to Nikki Cross for taking some incredible bumps in that and in other matches. But this was just really, really good. The crowd was really hot. AOP, probably the best effort that they'd had up to this point as tag team champions. And Sandy really arrived. They morphed into being baby faces by the end of this match, if they weren't already baby faces before. And it was just great. And Sandy winning the tag team championships was nice. Good stuff. Really no complaints. None. It was a match that I liked a lot better the second time around. If you guys watch my TakeOver Brooklyn 3 review, I said the match was good, maybe not great, but I take back what I said. It's like actually looking back on it, it was a lot better. Second impressions are a little better. Number 4, Velveteen Dream versus Alistair Black at TakeOver War Games. Velveteen arrived. Great stuff. The crowd went apeshit for Velveteen. And it went apeshit for Alistair Black. Don't get me wrong. Both guys were super over, but Velveteen arrived here, pulling out an incredible, DDT that I've never seen before, at least on WWE TV. That was just amazing. And Velveteen doing the Rick Rude, thing with his tights and stuff like that, and the great character they had in Alistair, of course, saying his name at the end after beating Velveteen. He said, enjoy this Velveteen Dream. And he said his name, and okay, cool. I wish Velveteen was on TV a little bit more after that. I haven't really seen him on NXT TV. I mean, I haven't been able to catch all of it, so maybe he has been. But I hope that he's back on there because that was a really good match. They need to capitalize on that shit. Don't call Velveteen Dream up yet. Have him be in NXT through 2018, please. Or at least don't call him up until after SummerSlam 2018 because he still needs time in there before they decide to ruin the character. But Patrick Clark, great athlete, incredible elbow drop, great character, and Alistair did well. It was picture perfect. Picture perfect match. It was probably the breakout match of that it might have been the breakout match of NXT of the year. As far as something that was on the undercard. Number 3, Braun versus Brock versus Joe versus Reigns. The 4-way of SummerSlam for the Universal title. My favorite WWE pay-per-view match of the year. Easily my favorite main event. It was just well done. It's such a great flow to it. Everybody got a chance to shine, everything. Reigns taking the pin was certainly something that I enjoyed and certainly something that shocked me. And I actually figured they were going to give it to Reigns. Thankfully, they didn't. And, hey, you know what? Brock got the win over Reigns. Unfortunately, that means that Reigns is going to win at Mania 34, which is not a good idea because no one cares because no one's going to like it. Okay, people may like it, and that's fine. I won't like it, and I'm just speaking for myself. But this was a great Fatal 4-Way. All these monsters did so well. It's weird that Reigns was the smallest guy in the match. And Reigns isn't like a huge guy, but he's decently, tall and big. And I mean, he'd look like a shrimp compared to the rest of these guys. But it was a great stuff. And Braun really shined. Braun was clearly the MVP of this match. It was an incredibly well done match. Number 2, Sandy versus AOP and Roderick Strong versus the Undisputed Era, the War Games match. Originally, I said this War Games match was really good, but not great. I did watch it again. The reason I'm ranking it this high on the list is because of the efforts of everybody. Now, to me, it wasn't necessarily a War Games match, but it was a WWE War Games match. Maybe not traditional, but it was a WWE War Games match. I can't fault the efforts of any of these guys, though. I mean, Sandy did well. Killian Dane was the MVP of this. Roderick Strong and Adam Cole had some good face-offs. Alexander Wolf took some incredibly hard shots and got busted open on that table spot. And thankfully, he's okay. But just everybody got a chance to shine here. It was great stuff. Sure, okay, the weapon usage. Maybe it went on a little long. Just a little. But I can't fault the efforts of anybody, and everybody did so well. It was just great. It was great stuff. And number 2, but number 1, and I don't care what anybody says, this is my number 1 favorite match. I mean, you guys can have a different opinion. It's your opinion, obviously. Tyler Bate versus Pete Dunne for the UK Championship at TakeOver Chicago. The best match that WWE or NXT has put on this year. Fight me. My favorite match. My favorite match, easily. I've watched this match at least 5 times. Love the style. Love the fact that Pete Dunne won, because he should have. But the crowd went apeshit when Pete Dunne first appeared. Well, I mean, JR appeared and whatever, and the crowd was chanting JR, and then Pete Dunne's music hit, and they went nuts, and, you could tell Dunne was feeling it. I mean, he really was, because he was, I'm really feeling it. Sorry, Chris, I had to say that just in case you watch this. But Pete's there, and it's just great stuff, because Pete was feeling it, Tyler Bate, the crowd was chanting UK, they were all over the place, but they were loving it. They'd appreciate the action, the solid efforts, great submission wrestling, great ground and pound wrestling. Just the forearms that Dunne threw. I mean, and Bate not looking weak at all, just making one mistake. Dunne capitalized, hitting, the bitter end in the center, 1, 2, 3. Pete Dunne, UK champion. And really, it was just spectacular. It was just spectacular to watch. And I was thrilled watching that pay-per-view. It was great. It was such great stuff. The TakeOver Chicago might have actually been the best TakeOver of the year. I mean, I know I mentioned on my best, worst moments in WWE, NXT in 2017, I might have mentioned this one as being a standout one, because there were only 5 takeovers, and that's all it should be. Only 5 a year. We don't need 1 a month. That just this match made TakeOver Chicago mean something big. And that's all due respect to everybody else that competed on that show. But this was such an incredible match, and I just love it. So anyway, that's what I gotta say. My top 10 favorite matches of WWE NXT in 2017. Do you agree? Do you disagree with what I said? What are some of your favorite matches? Like, share, comment, subscribe. Twitter link in the description. Spend real honesty with John Rithlin. I'm John Rithlin, and I will see you soon.